One last thing I want to talk about before we do maybe a quick run through of all the weekly shows from this week. I know it's going to be a little extra long-winded episode this week. Please forgive me. That's why I always say,
be patient, everyone.
Follow In The Kliq on YouTube. We'll put our individual segments up there as well, edit those down. But so last weekend, was it last weekend? Last Sunday, yes. The big fifth and final episode, the final chapter of the Undertaker's WWE Network series, The Last Ride, aired. So I guess, quote, the season finale or series finale, if you want to call it that. Richard, I saw that you posted online. You were raving about it, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, kind of your initial thought. We'll go around the room, just initial thoughts of just your thoughts on maybe the final episode, maybe as the series overall.
I thought it was probably, which is saying something because everything they do is great, but probably the best docu-series I've seen WWE put out, and way more in there than you would expect them to put in, about his personal life. I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching it and you're seeing him talk to Vince or whomever, and he's giving advice.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, he's Triple H's Pat Patterson. Like, if they get him as a backstage agent, I think he can do what Pat did for Vince, for Triple H and Stephanie, or whoever runs it when Vince is gone. But
yeah.
Just a wealth of knowledge, and, thank you, Undertaker.
I know, absolutely. Tommy, you didn't watch it, right?
No, I haven't watched it. I don't really care for those documentaries.
That's the bottom line, because Tommy said so.
Damn right.
Philip, you watched it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Patterson analogy, that's probably the best analogy you can make it. I mean, you look at the guy in character for basically 30 years, and it was weird at first, but you see all the interviews he's done now with Busted Open and Sam Roberts and Peter Rosenberg and all these guys. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge. If they have him, that'd be awesome. Just the greatest character in the history of the business, to stay face for that many years and to put on the classic matches that he has and all that stuff. And the part where he yells Kobe when he throws trash away was funny.
I know, that was great. That was cool.
Kobe.
I'll just say this. I for someone like Undertaker who's, I guess, protected himself and the business for nearly 30 years, respect to that, because kayfabe
it's dead.
Yeah, it's very hard to do these days. But I respect him on these recent interviews. I've saw some of those ones you just listed off as well, and he.
Well, how are you gonna top him riding off on a motorcycle to Metallica?
I know.
Come on.
I'll just say this. I respected that he held that very dearly. He took a lot of pride in doing that, keeping just kayfabe alive and just trying to protect the Undertaker character as a whole. But with that being said, I really love that finally, and he's earned that right, to finally just be Mark Calloway, just talk about himself, his career, his personal life.
Mean Mark Callis, as I remember him in WCW.
Yes, but I just I love that finally we get to see the regular side of him, because all these other wrestlers from back in the day finally break character and just talk about their personal lives and how certain things have been done, shoot interviews, all that stuff. So I finally got that. And it sounds like, and even going back to the Stone Cold podcast he did, his memory is still intact as far as sharp, remembering specific stories, events. I feel like at this point in his life, please document all this as best you can while you're able to.
He told a great story about Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, all that stuff. I want him to talk about all this stuff, so now we have all this knowledge on file. Yeah, and so for years to come, we can not only watch his career, but then we have all these stories to watch and then reflect on his career as well. So I love that this documentary, if anything, he's able to kind of control his own narrative and talk about his life and just what he went through as a wrestler, his personal life. That's one great thing about this documentary. I think it's him to just open up, and we can kind of get more of who he is and just even I think for a lot of fans, fall in love with him even more and really just respect him as a whole. For this last episode, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was very focused on the Boneyard match, the lead up to that with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. We got to see a lot from him as far as what he went through. Obviously, the original plans, like he wanted to wrestle the best, and obviously
who's better?
Yeah, AJ Styles right now.
He's the closest to Shawn.
Absolutely,
he's phenomenal.
Absolutely. There you go. The
Pun
puns
intended.
again.
He's phenomenal, guys.
So, but it's obviously something that's been in the works. And I guess they kind of do know each other. They vacation together or something. That's what they quick little mention. Mutual friend vacationing spot. So they know of each other. And he said, I think in a previous episode, AJ is the closest to Shawn Michaels as far as his current roster. So he wanted to wrestle him. And by all means, the initial plan was to have an actual match in Tampa Bay for WrestleMania 36 this year. Obviously, with the pandemic, didn't plan out. But to their credit, WWE and everyone involved, they quickly pivot, came up with the Boneyard match, and just to see
They made it work.
They made it work. They killed Gallows and Anderson. We have not seen them since.
Oh, yeah.
AJ Styles was buried alive.
with the hand sticking out.
His hand sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker gets to ride around with Metallica. So
Dude,
Yeah.
I love that. I was going to say I loved just because we saw a couple leaked photos, I think the week after WrestleMania, of some behind-the-scene photos.
Mm-hmm.
Little do we know, now we kind of got the actual video form of it, the documentary of it, explaining that stuff. So, Philip, I thought it was just really cool. We got to see Triple H kind of, directing, Jeremy Borash right there.
Oh, he's critiquing.
Yeah, and just, helping, giving advice or setting things up. So it's very much, like a movie set. I loved all that stuff.
Like Vince McMahon said, we make movies.
But Philip, we saw, I guess kind of one thing I wanted to ask you was, like, we saw at the end, he said, actually it was a couple things. One, we saw, I guess his brother passed away a couple days before they were started filming, or day before they were going to film the match. I guess Michelle lost a nephew, unfortunately passed away. And then even Undertaker referenced Kobe Bryant's death as well. It kind of had an impact on him so I think between all these different little tragedies in his life, he realized the value of family and being home more often.
How precious life is, yeah. I mean, you look at it, he doesn't need to have another one. I mean, he said, never say never, which, he could be like Terry Funk and have 100 retirements. But that's the perfect way to go out, man. Like you said, riding off to Metallica. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
If they bring him back, they can do what Tommy is saying. They can always have Mean Mark, or Mark Calloway, because now they're selling Mark Calloway T-shirts. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, I saw that.
I have not.
At WWE shop?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw
completely threw me off, but he said, like you were saying, if Vince asked him, he'd do it.
And that's the thing. He, at the very end, he says he has no more desire to be in the ring anymore. But it is wrestling. Then Vince calls me. I will think about it. If he breaks the emergency glass
in case of emergency.
So, like you say, I think that's a smart phrase from Mark Calloway, aka Undertaker, because he's telling people, listen, I am done. However, if you ever see me in the ring again, you could blame Vince McMahon then. So he's trying to think past the blame. That way, any criticism that comes his way, if he does come back for something, it's Vince's fault. That's how I
to
kind of
quote
interpret
Terry
it.
Funk, forever, forever, forever.
I was gonna say, what's his name? Charlie, Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie.
I need Tommy to cut like a Chainsaw Charlie promo.
Put you in a dumpster.
Just give me like 2 minutes, bro.
That's great. No, but I'm saying it's just I think Undertaker, a couple things. One, because of these cinematic style matches, theoretically, someone like him can easily do more of those because
You don't have to take many bumps.
well, yeah, you're not in a ring per se. You can like film like an action. It's like an action scene in a movie. You can film that. You can
It's like Roadhouse.
choreograph that stuff. But at the same time, I still think Undertaker wants to have one last moment in the ring in front of an actual crowd.
Yeah. I think the stadium is what he wanted. But
As great as Riding Off in the Sunset with Metallica playing, I agree with you. I love that. But I think he probably wants one last final like wave to the crowd.
I mean, what was that thing Jimbo always said? Like, have Sean retire him or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
He wants-
Saudi Arabia never happened.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? Little asterisk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be. I think it would be okay.
He needs a curtain call.
Yeah.
Hug it out with
Jimbo?
The Kliq.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I totally forgot about that. That killed kayfabe right there.
Now
the
it's
curtain call.
Now it's the
At
This is
NBC.
24 years.
Yes. So Triple H still paying for it.
Yeah.
No, but I was just gonna say. So, well, I would hopefully, maybe if Survivor Series is able to have a crowd in November, like an actual arena setup, it would be the 30th anniversary of his debut. So maybe he's gonna do an appearance there.
Possibly.
Or I still think, I said this before, LA, WrestleMania next year, second largest market in the country after New York City. He had his farewell in, Madison Square Garden, New York City, and all that stuff. I still think Los Angeles will be a great place to kind of say goodbye to everyone. It's going to be a packed house, like you said, Hollywood vibe and all that stuff. Yeah. I still think whether it's at a match or maybe he does a run-in or something. Well, I don't know if it's so much of a run, that long ramp. he'll get boosted up halfway through the.
I think he breaks out the American Badass and he rides down.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That could work.
Which is interesting, by the way. We found out, we got confirmation in the documentary. He said the Trinity. So the Trinity is Undertaker, American Badass, and Mark. Because remember, I think Jimbo and we were discussing, what does that mean, the three? Is he going to have like two people come in and back him up? Is it Kane or something?
I mean, I don't know. Like it was. I know we're going pretty long, but it was more than that. Like he shows up, he's literally a zombie. You get through like the late '90s, he's that CT.
Kane's going to come back as fake Diesel.
No.
That'd be great, dude. But yeah, like he was a zombie. He's like the satanic cult leader. He becomes an American Badass. He comes back at WrestleMania 20. The cowboy rides again.
Yeah.
The mid to late 2000s. He has the MMA gloves and becomes the striker. And, he's Mohawk Undertaker and all this other stuff. So like, there's a lot of incarnations. He wasn't just a dead guy and an American Badass.
Yeah.
You could say he was the Madonna of pro wrestling.
Always evolving.
Always involving a chameleon.
Every
a
year.
chameleon.
The Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, too. Yeah.
David Bowie.
Yeah,
Well,
David Bowie.
That's what
David
Jericho's side is a big influence. But anyway, no, it's. I thought the show, the episode itself, I will admit, got me a little teary eyed, especially the ending. The little, what was it? The country star, Troubadour, the song. God, who was the singer? I'm spacing right now, but the song's Troubadour. But just
George Strait?
Which one?
George Strait?
I think I have to double check.
Yeah.
I should look it up right now. But
Waylon Jennings? I don't know.
look on your phone, Tommy. Troubadour country song. But anyway,
We'll edit this out.
but I'm just saying the collage of all the photos of the like behind the scenes stuff, all of his friends, Yokozuna, and what's the name of his?
It is George Strait, by the way.
Good. There you go.
The
He
BSK?
dropped,
BSK, yes.
he was dropping some names you weren't expecting to hear too, like
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams. Yeah.
I mean, just some of the names, like, I was like, I got goosebumps because that took me back to my childhood of like these people he was friends with in the 90s. But it was very just sad / happy just seeing all the photos of all his friends from over the years. When you've been in the business for 30 years with WWE, you built up probably a long list of just all the friends and acquaintances you've made. So just that ending alone, like I would watch that over and over just because it's a great, like, just history of timeline of his run in WWE and just all the people he's interacted with. So it was a great, like, ending right there. And just that last shot with, like, look like a drone flying off. And he's very much like Thanos at the end of Infinity War, where he's like, sitting on the little house on the porch there, and the drone shot gets the wide shot flying away. It's like Thanos at the end of Infinity War, just standing there like, yep, I've done everything I can. So, like I said, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. So, for anyone who hasn't watched it, by all means, you Tommy specifically, go binge watch it right now.
I'll try.